What's going on, everyone? So there's been a lot of talk about the Lakers preserving cap space for 2027, ideally to land that next star alongside Luka Doncic in a Nikola Jokic or a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Right? The problem is, and something that I've talked about, is it's more likely the Lakers are going to have to trade for one of those guys rather than them hitting free agency. Very rarely do guys of their caliber, like all-time greats, actually hit free agency. Right? A lot of times you'll see them, they'll sign the max contract or the super max and then request the trade later on down the road. But even then, right, like take Jokic or Giannis, for example, right? Either one of those guys, if the Milwaukee Bucks believe he's just going to leave and walk, or they believe, or Denver believes that Jokic is just going to leave or walk, they're going to trade them, try to get whatever they can. Now, it is very possible that either of those guys go, hey, I only want to go to Lakers, pull in Anthony Davis, right? An Anthony Davis situation. But here's the thing, right? Jokic and Giannis are good enough to where a team might be willing to go and do the Kawhi Leonard situation, right? Now, obviously, that means if the Lakers know, if we know, okay, hey, Jokic is coming or Giannis is coming, then you be patient and you wait for that because they're good enough to warrant that to where you could potentially win multiple championships. Obviously, the idea is to win one or two right now, but you kind of figure that out and then get the big guy, and now you got, a Giannis and Luka or whatever for the next, 5-6 years, right? And potentially winning championships every year during that stretch. But the other side of thing that new news came out is Giannis is still kind of mulling over a potential trade, right? And Giannis, in my opinion, is the best kind of co-star alongside Luka Doncic as far as fit-wise goes. If you can get a Jokic, you get a Jokic, right? I think that might actually be more fun, just the playmaking and the offensive engine and all that. That might be more fun, but they are very similar players. I mean, they're essentially the same player, just one's a center, one's a guard. Now, maybe that works because of that, but Giannis would just be a natural fit alongside Luka because he is a guy that could be that lob threat and give the ball to, and he can just go to work and stuff. I just think that would be a better pairing and a better duo. However, here's the thing, right? A lot of people, a lot of Laker fans, I'm seeing going like, yes, Lakers, go get Giannis. That's the plan. Let's do it, right? And yes, that might be the plan. However, the likelihood that the Lakers get him right now is, I never say zero. You never know, but it's incredibly low and thin. Now, maybe in the offseason, it gets much higher. Why? Because they would have more picks, they would have more assets, they'd have more things that they can now go and make that move, make that trade. LeBron James, I've talked about, maybe you could do a LeBron kind of deal or sign and trade with the Cleveland Cavaliers and get a Darius Garland and a Jared Allen, and then you're adding Austin Reeves and 3 firsts now that you have, plus whatever pick swaps and everything else to now go pony up. Now that's a better package for Giannis. Now it's like, oh, wow, you get Jared Allen. You could get or maybe you're trading Jared Allen because they have a Miles Turner now. So maybe you're getting more assets or more young players in a Jared Allen trade. But point is like now it's like, okay, now you're getting Darius Garland, you're getting Austin Reeves, you're getting Jared Allen, you're getting 3 firsts, right? That package is much more competitive, much more comparable to other packages that are out there. And he could do something like, hey, I only want to go to the Lakers. Teams aren't going to outbid the Lakers at that point because the Lakers would actually have a good enough package to warrant and justify where it's like, hey, we're not going to do the quiet thing because we'd have to outdo their package. And it just doesn't make sense for us to do that when we know he's going to leave in a year. But right now, the Lakers package is, it's thin. It's like, okay, 1 first in Austin Reeves, right? Plus, you got to send out Rui and all this other stuff. That's just salary filler. So it's really Austin Reeves and a first and then a bunch of salary filler. Like, team like Houston probably looking at it going like, I mean, we could beat that, and not even have to give up much, right? Like, you look at their picks and their treasure trove that they have and the young players that they have, right? Like, if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you're like, oh, I'm going to that. And you'd have these teams that would look at it and go like, I would not only, yeah, he might want to go to the Lakers. He might leave us in 2 years to go to Lakers, but that's perfect because we got Kevin Durant lined up and Giannis, so we got this 2-year window to win a championship or two. And if we win in those years, then it was worth it. It was warranted, right? So now you have that, and then a team like Houston could be like, hey, maybe we get what Donovan Mitchell did. where the Cavs are like, hey, we know he's going to the Knicks, but he's got a couple years on his deal. Let's see if we can convince him to stay. And guess what? He is still on the Cavs. So you have that risk too, where in a year, you're probably not going to be able to convince them well enough, but in a couple years, and you start putting the pieces together, and if Giannis wins a championship in Houston, does now he look at it and go like, why would I leave Houston? I won a championship, I'm here, I'm happy, I'm comfortable, I've been settled in the last few years, rather than like, hey, I'm going to go there for a couple months and then I'm just going to move to LA and be with the Lakers. It's a big difference, right? So the likelihood that the Lakers land that superstar right now is very slim. Also, the other thing is you still have LeBron. Now, if LeBron wants to leave and go, then yes, maybe you could do that trade now, right? Maybe you could do hey, Cleveland, do you guys want LeBron? LeBron's willing to be traded. LeBron wants to go. He wants to go back to you. And then maybe they do go, hey, yeah, fine, we'll do the trade. Here's Darius Garland. Here's Jared Allen. Here's all that stuff, right? Lakers now they don't have the 3 first, but they have a first and Austin Reeves and all of that. And then now maybe they can be comparable. And maybe teams wouldn't rush to go and do that because they're like, do we really want to pony up for a rental of Giannis? Right now, the Lakers again would have just a much more comparable package, especially if you can turn Jared Allen into like a first or 2. Now you have a first and like 4 pick swaps. So it's like 4 pick swaps, 2 firsts, Austin Reeves, Darius Garland, plus a young player or 2, whatever. Right? Now maybe you can be more competitive in that regard. But now you're essentially pushing LeBron out the door, kicking LeBron out the door, which, maybe he's okay with that, but that also is not a good look. And what if LeBron says, no, I want to stay? Now what? Is Giannis going to want to go to the Lakers? Like, to do what? Right? Where do you start? Is LeBron going to move to the 3? Maybe if you land Giannis, but then also you have to get to the salary there and be able to build out a roster. You can see where it starts to get really complicated and really difficult and just very unlikely, right? Unless LeBron really is like, hey, yeah, I'm fine. I'll move to wherever you want to go, right? So to me, I look at this situation and I think like, yes, it's great that Giannis might still be on the move. My concern, though, is that he ends up getting traded. Because if he does get traded, he's probably going to a place that he wants to go to, and he's probably going to stick around. So that probably takes Giannis off the market for the Lakers, right? Because if Giannis ends up getting traded to Houston and then signs a new extension, that's it. You kiss, Giannis goodbye. Now, I do personally believe, and I've talked about this on several occasions, I do personally believe that Jokic is probably the most likely guy for the Lakers because I just think, Luka and Jokic are besties, right? Like they talk, they hang out, they want to play together, all that stuff. So I think if the Lakers were going to get anybody, it would be Nikola Jokic, right? But is Jokic going to be willing to kind of force his way out of Denver to the Lakers, right? Maybe. And I've talked about this before. I actually have a video already done that I was going to post, but then we got the Giannis news. So I was like, here, let me talk about this here. So that video will be out later, but I talked about like in that video, right? Like Luka's recruiting. It's very possible the Lakers already know. It's very possible because look, as soon as they fired Mike Malone and all that stuff, there was already questions about like, is Denver, is how Jokic feel about Denver, so on and so forth. And here's the thing. If any star was going to leave their place, it's probably Jokic because he doesn't care. I mean, even DeMarcus Cousins was like, dude, he was contemplating retiring before that. Like he got more joy out of his horse winning that event than he did winning an NBA championship. It's a job for him. He's made that clear. We know, right? And there's nothing, like he's so good, you don't care. It's like prime Shaq. I mean, I'm not saying Jokic is prime Shaq, but I'm saying like, prime Shaq is like, hey, he's lazy, he's this, he's that, he's the other, right? He doesn't really put the work in. And it's like, yeah, but you're winning championships. Who cares? He's so good. You look past that stuff. Jokic is one of those guys, right? Jokic is so good. You look past the like, hey, basketball is like towards the bottom, right, of his totem pole. He's just so good at the game that it's worth it. You look past all those things. So I do think that Jokic is very likely the player that I would, if I had to choose, like who's the guy that I think is going to end up on the Lakers. It's Jokic if that happens, but Giannis I think would be the best natural fit. Problem is if Giannis wants to be traded this season, I don't see him being a Laker. Again, stranger things have happened. like I said, if LeBron is willing to go, I've talked about, working out some type of 3-team trade in the past. I might actually do a video again on it, like breaking it down more in depth, especially because things have changed since, I made that video a couple months ago. But again, like maybe you're working something out, like if LeBron really does want to go. But again, if he doesn't, then there that goes. Right? But if LeBron really is like, hey, I want to get out of here, right? Then yes, you could go like trade LeBron for the package that now can be comparable to the other teams, to where you can go and make that move for Giannis, especially if Giannis is kind of nudging his way to the Lakers, right? If Giannis comes out and is like, hey, I want to go to the Lakers, right? And the Lakers, like, yes, maybe Houston is willing to give up a slightly better package, but if he knows like, oh, well, we're going to rent him. Do we really want to give up 5 firsts and all our young players and everything for a year, maybe 2, right? Probably not, right? So it depends on the scenario. But if you're somebody that's counting on Giannis being a Laker this season, right, I wouldn't count on it. I think each year, obviously it gets more likely if he hits free agency, right? I think it's more likely that the Lakers can pull that off next season, right? Or next offseason. So this time next year, that I think is more likely. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.